We live in a time where everything's democratized. Everything is in our pocket right now.
Right.
This is the greatest era in human history. It's just that we're getting distracted.
We've got the one, the only, DJ SPYNFO, Bronx, born and raised, DJ, radio personality, and community leader, and owner of Sankofa Haus, where we're shooting our podcast right now.
They say the folks that think they can change the world and have those crazy ideas are the ones that usually do it. I'm in that crazy realm, I guess.
I always say God planted that seed, that voice, that itch. That's God's voice in advance. It's already yours.
One of the biggest books that kind of steered me in this particular direction was The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. That's the man that actually created Black History Month.
What are some of the things that you have done to empower yourself?
The universe gives you everything you need. You just have to be willing to accept it. Anything you can imagine is real. If you can think it, it's already exists somewhere in the multiverse.
What are some of the things our young brothers and sisters can do today with limited resources to just fucking open their eyes, maybe start to change the way they're thinking?
As we said,
welcome to another episode of the Real Mentors Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sean Martin. Today in studio, we've got the one, the only, DJ SPYNFO, Bronx, born and raised, DJ, radio personality, and community leader. DJ SPYNFO is an entrepreneur and owner of Sankofa Haus, where we're shooting our podcast right now. It's a creative event space in the South Bronx, but that's not all. He's held notable roles at Hot 97, where he's contributed as a DJ and on-air host. And he blends entertainment with activism, curating spaces and programming that elevate local artists, preserve cultural identity, and reclaim narrative in his own community of the Bronx and the South Bronx. Welcome to the show today, my brother.
that was an amazing intro.
That was, thank you.
An amazing intro.
You're an amazing,
Appreciate you.
amazing person.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
From the time I met you, I came here to speak at an event. I didn't even meet you that night. You weren't here. I met your lady. And I was just blown away by the place because I've been to plenty of event spaces. You know, we do the baby shower thing or
Absolutely.
the christening. It's just like a hood thing, right?
Yeah,
For some reason, we throw a big party. We need the space. We just rent the
four walls.
storefront.
Yeah.
Whatever's cheap, affordable, American Legion, things like that. So to see an event space with the amount of love, energy, and money that you poured into this place, I was very impressed. So I'm very proud to call this home now, and I'm very proud to be part of your entrepreneurial journey.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. It means a lot, brother.
My pleasure, man. I mean, we started this in the South Bronx, even though I'm from the Northeast Bronx.
Okay.
And then, we lost our spot, and I was shooting in Long Island for a while, and then I came to that event. I was like, we need to come back home. And you were very gracious and very fair and very welcoming. So thank you. Anything we could do to help you
Absolutely.
build your business, consider it done.
Same here.
Where'd you get your entrepreneurial inclinations from? Because you're just an all-around hustler, bro.
I mean, there's so many different iterations of what that may have started from, but I would say it had to start from my father. My father was a hardworking Honduran man. One of those guys that just worked to midnight with the flashlight. Hold the flashlight, don't move. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys.
Were you the one holding the flashlight?
All the time. I was the youngest one. I'm the youngest of 9. So 4 brothers, 4 sisters. So I had to deal with all that as a child in the Bronx. Hustling, working with my dad. My first job, I was like a janitor at a church, my sister's church. In between my friends playing on the crate, I had to stop, 5 o'clock, go up the block, clean the church up. Me and my dad for 3-4 hours mopping, cleaning the toilets, all that good stuff. And I would say it started from there. I understood
How old are you at this point?
I was 14 years old.
Okay.
14, 15 years old. I might have been making like $8 an hour or something like that. Might have came out to a strong $28, something like that.
$28 paycheck. Well, it was a different time because, minimum wage was $4.25, bro, when I was growing up. So that shit just sounds disgusting compared to $8. I'm like, you was spoiled. And now it's 16.
I know.
Like, what y'all complaining about? But the cost of living has changed so dramatically.
Triple, quadruple.
And that's crazy because you're a Bronx cat. I'm a Bronx cat, but I left. And quite honestly, I had to leave to find the peace that I needed.
Absolutely.
To find myself. You've been able to do that while still staying in your home base.
Yeah.
What's the secret to that? What's the secret sauce to being able to be, a good dad, a solid entrepreneur, solid community leader, and an all-around good person?
I appreciate that. Man, I'm just grounded in community. I have had big visions since childhood in regards to what the Bronx could be. And I think a lot of that started from my travels. I traveled a lot with my parents when I was young. I mean, nothing crazy, Bahamas, Florida, stuff like that. But as I got older, my first couple trips were like, Mexico. And then some of my biggest trips were like going to Japan at 23, 24, flying out, DJing in different places, Brazil, DJing in Kenya. And, it opened up my eyes to what the world could be. So I've been on this crazy path since childhood where it's like, I feel like I want to see something different in the borough that I was raised in because the subways still look the same. The highways still look the same. The potholes, the biggest potholes in America are right by Yankee Stadium. You know what I'm saying? So, they say the folks that think they can change the world and have those crazy ideas are the ones that usually do it. No. So, I'm in that crazy realm, I guess.
Yeah, it's wild because I always say God planted that seed, that voice, that itch. That's God's voice in advance. It's already yours. But you answered the call.
Yes.
And I find that to be the most courageous thing because so many people will silence that voice or not answer that call because it just seems so inconceivable.
Yeah.
So for me, like my journey wasn't to build it here in the Bronx. It was to go see what was fucking possible on a non-restricted level, right?
Yeah.
So like if I want to help people of color, that's one thing that resolve, but people of color aren't all the same, right?
Yeah.
We're all different depending on where we're from, what culture, different experience, right? So we can't all fit in this one bubble. So I just wanted to go see the business world and also the world as a whole, but it brought me back here to my roots because I think this is where I'm needed.
Yeah.
This is where I think I'm called to be.
Same.
To uplift the community. And, again, you've been doing it with boots on the ground. I kind of took my boots off the ground.
Yeah.
Had to do what I had to do, and now coming back in what I consider to be hopefully a big way sooner than later where we get to make some impact.
I think one of the big parts too that I kind of skipped over is, we learned as children, reading fundamental, and one of the biggest books that kind of steered me in this particular direction was The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson, make sure you pick that book up. If you haven't read it already, you need to pick up that book. That's the man that actually created Black History Month. And that book is like a good ass whooping. It teaches you about the fundamentals of how you can build community, what you can be doing within your community to make it better. You are a big part of the reason that things can evolve and change. You are a beacon of light, and you have to love yourself, trust yourself, and step into that light.
Let's talk about it. Let's go all the way with it because a lot of my colleagues don't understand how that oppression of an entire people still affects them today. Mm-hmm. Oh, slavery happened 400 years ago. No. Get over it. I've literally heard that out of white people's mouths. And they're comfortable enough saying it around me because I don't present as a threat. They would probably never say that in front of a black man. And that brings me to the point that we have been miseducated.
Absolutely.
On every level.
Absolutely.
And yes, we were mistreated and misguided and all those things. And yes, slavery was 400 years ago, but it has pretty much destroyed the thing that I keep hearing on every fucking episode, which is that the people that find success had a good foundation. Mm-hmm. You had a father. You had a mom at home too?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
You had 9 kids. You know what I mean? So you had a community in your home. Absolutely. That you could lean on. And what is missing from the people that don't find success tends to be that. Is it always that? No. And a big reason for that is the destruction of the family structure.
Absolutely.
In the African-American community, which I am very well aware of. And it's spilled over to a lot of the Caribbean. It's spilled over to a lot of people of color on this side of the world. Again.
If the traumas of the past aren't transformed, they'll just continue to be transmitted. And there's a lot of traumas within the Black and brown community. I'll say that again. If the traumas of the past aren't transformed, they'll continue to be transmitted. So one of the things we have to do in our community is identify those traumas and look ourselves in the mirror and figure out ways to become better, become more conscious, to remove all that mess that's battling us within our prefrontal cortex, that default mode network, that thing that allows us to be so reactive and not allowing us to really respond to the world that we're in. We are very, I would say our nervous system is kind of wired a certain way because of some of the traumas of the past. And we're just starting to uncover that. That's a real scientific thing. It's deep in our DNA.
It's DNA. Yeah,
it's deep in our DNA.
My guest before you from California, white guy, man of faith, amazing interview, came here with his wife, and we talked about the same thing, that trauma showing up in relationships.
Absolutely.
So it's showing up in any individual human being. Mm-hmm. But in the term of what we're talking about, it shows up in almost an entire people.
Yeah.
Where it almost becomes easier if you have this recognition or you have the means to make it out, you do, and you don't look back.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is that trauma that is seemingly insurmountable at times. What are some of the things that you have done to empower yourself? Reading, obviously, being one of the most, traveling,
absolutely,
being one of the most powerful things you can do. What are some of the things our young brothers and sisters can do today with limited resources to just fucking open their eyes, maybe start to change the way they're thinking?
As we said, reading at the core of it all. You know, I ask a lot of friends or just people in passing, yo, what are you reading right now? And you know, Instagram, Twitter, that don't count. And I'm glad and I'm very fortunate to have a strong collection of brothers around me that asked me and triggered me with those questions during 2020 when we was dealing with the pandemic and stuff like that. And I really wasn't reading as much as I should have. You know, out of college, high school, you read what you have to get past the class, but I wasn't reading just to kind of gain more information and knowledge. Like one of the most important books that's on the shelf right now is The Fourth Industrial Revolution. I have a book that's called The Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is what we're living through right now with all this AI, quantum computing, nuclear fission, fusion, everything that's kind of taking place. So I would say we live in a time where everything's democratized. Everything is in our pocket right now. Right. This is the greatest era in human history. It's just that we're getting distracted. And one of the things that we're having a hard time doing, and it's a quote, people say, you got to manage your time. You can't really manage the time. Time is going. It's probably the fastest year of our lives. Right. This year has flown by, but we have the ability to manage what we give our attention to. We can manage our attention. What do we give our attention to? Because right now, the way you move through the algorithms and different things, there's so much distractions. So I would say first and foremost, love yourself, respect yourself, love others, respect others, but then identify time to either meditate, identify time to write things down that you really want to align with, and then go out into the world and try and do it. Because the world, just like Will Smith, and DJ Khaled, and yourself and myself, we know how it works. It's water out here. Right. The universe gives you everything you need. You just have to be willing to accept it. You have to step forward. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable for a little bit. And that's one of the biggest challenges that most of us face because we're so bogged down with thoughts and things that don't really apply. Everything you can imagine is real. That's what Picasso said. Anything you can imagine is real. If you can think it, it's already exists somewhere in the multiverse. We can go down that bunny hole if we want to, but that's just where I start. That's how I operate. Because so many things have manifested in my life. You being here right now is a manifestation. Once I left here, I say, oh, Sean's about to do this podcast. It's up. It's up. I gave you a hug. We had a good conversation in the corner. I'm like, oh, I'm talking about mad different things.
Fucking Jedi mind tricks on
That's
me.
right. That's what we're here
It was
now.
already preordained.
Absolutely.
And you're talking, and I had the same conversation with my previous guest who had just left, Jake Hamilton. Same conversation. White man, California, great man. Great husband, great father, not through happenstance, but through work. And when you lift the veil of all the distraction and all the politics and all the bullshit, we are all the same.
Yes.
All the same. I don't care what skin you were born into, what fucking you could afford. We are all the same.
One of my statements when I initially started this space is expanding our collective consciousness through entertainment, education, and love. Love is the foundation for everything. We learned about love through various religions and family, but expanding our collective consciousness, because we're one expanding consciousness, but we all really want the same things. We want respect. We want people to love and show respect to our kids. We want to eat some good food. We want to have some free time. We want to crack some jokes. I don't know anybody. Oh, I hate jokes, bro. I hate laughing. You know what I mean? I don't like to laugh, bro.
I've actually seen a motherfucker walk out of a comedy show because he was getting gigged on. And I was just like, but why would you even be here?
Yeah,
they picked you
know
out
where you
because
at?
you were not laughing. Like, you were just a miserable fuck who came to a comedy show. But to your point, I've actually seen it happen. But you're right. Who the fuck feels depressed when they're dancing?
Absolutely.
Who is, depressed or sad or focused on something bad when they're laughing?
We're all searching for the same things. And I think that right now, like I said, everything's democratized. And for the future generation, for anybody listening out there that's younger than us, you guys have this unique opportunity to create a clean slate. We have this unique opportunity where there's so much information around. All you need now is discipline. Discipline yourself. Discipline your habits. What are you doing when you wake up in the morning? What are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Those things are the most important factors. Everything else comes secondary. The conversations, you can do therapy, you can talk about it with your old principal, your girl, whatever. But what are you doing on your own time with yourself? How how are you spending your time with yourself?
How you showing up for yourself?
How are you showing up for yourself? Those things are super important. And I think those are the building blocks for success. Those are the building blocks for allowing yourself to dream big.
So who taught you how to love yourself? Where'd you get that, that nugget? And when was it that you started to pay attention to those things? Because that's not something that a young man necessarily is born into. So where'd you get those influences?
I would say, like I said, 4 brothers, 4 sisters. There was a lot of love in the house. It was, we was always surrounded. I have Harry Belafonte right there. It was always like this particular vibration that took place in the South Bronx when shit was going haywire. I live in the midst of the crack era, right? It was crack pipes in front of the church, in front of the school. I didn't deal with none of that, and I didn't really get caught up in anything realistically. I didn't get into no fights. I never got jumped. I never beat nobody up. I was like a cool clown kid. Like I'm always cracking jokes, whatever the case may be. But when it comes to the love was embedded in me because of the environment. Going to certain spaces with my parents to the church, going or listening to certain types of music. We only play soca music in the house. That music is all about love. It's all about unity. That's deep in me. When I hear certain songs, recipes from my dad, I cry because I feel it. I can remember exactly how I felt when I was 8, 10, playing ping pong in the basement. And right now, this space is like a reiteration of what my basement was. My basement was filled with love. The baby showers, we didn't go to up the block. We didn't have to rent no spot because we had a big ass basement. All the baby showers, all the birthdays, the 10-year-old birthday, the 5-year-old birthday, wedding anniversaries, our bridal showers, that was in my basement. So it was filled and packed with love with soca music in the background, Tiny Whiny, Harry Belafonte, all that good stuff, Winston So-So. So, you're from the Caribbean diaspora or the diaspora in general, you understand the impact and power of music. There's a difference between how it sounds and how it feels. Right. I was all about the feeling, and I felt love through the music. And that's how I became a DJ as well, because I just wanted to kind of express that through mixing and just being in front of people that were going through something. I wanted them to escape from that, whatever that they were going through.
And that was always the escape, right? I mean, for the most part, people would wait for the weekend, and then you just get loose, let loose.
Numb yourself up.
Sometimes we start on Thursday, but for the most part, Friday and Saturday was what we looked forward to escape the humdrum job we didn't want, but we were just chasing and trading our time for money and all that other stuff. You were always an entrepreneur. Did you ever take on jobs and realize it wasn't for you? What's the early days look like for you?
So like I said, janitorial work in the beginning. Then I went on to, I was at New York Post for a year. In high school, we had a program in high school when I was in New York Post for a little bit. And then I went to General Reinsurance. I was in an insurance firm. Just doing a lot of clerical work, documentation, phone calls.
So just grinding.
Yeah, just grinding. $10 an hour. I was killing it, bro. $10. $2,000.
$350 minus taxes.
Yo, for real.
Holy shit.
9/11 happened. I departed right before 9/11 happened. And prior to that, you had a host up here. He was a big part of my inspiration, Amadeus. Amadeus and I went to high school together. And, when I talk about the music and things of that nature, walking around Cardinal Hayes High School, which is up the block, walking past Amadeus drumming in the band class drew me into the room. I started playing music. I started playing the trumpet. And then when I left high school, I bought turntables. And one of the incidents that took place from my high school to college transition was my niece had a birthday party in my basement. I think she was turning like 16 or something like that. DJ was terrible, screaming on the mic, doing the most. And my father had a bunch of soca records and whatever he had, Michael Jackson, CeCe Peniston, whatever the case. And I started like playing around with them during her party. And in that moment in time, I was like, oh, I kind of like know how to do this naturally because I can count beats because I played music for so long. Right. I was playing music for 4 years prior in high school. And prior to that, I played the piano. My mother was a classical musician, Beethoven, Mozart, Rachmaninoff. So music and love and all that was all around me. Kind of jumping into different tangents, but stay with me. So now.
I love the energy. That's what attracted me to the first day. I'm like, I like this cat. I like this cat a lot.
No, respect. But so now we fast forward and, I'm at St. John's University. I was lucky enough. I feel like everything kind of played its part in this weird way where I had a dorm room that was right by the elevator in Hollis Hall. Big shout to St. John's University, all my St. John's University alumni. And I just keep my door open. I just bought my first pair of turntables and things just started happening. People used to pull up, come into the room, dance, have a good time. And then eventually various organizations, True Image, big shout to Haraya, various organizations like, hey, can you mind? You think you could DJ this poetry slam? You think you could DJ this fashion show? I'm like, all right, cool. Done fucked up mad shows because I didn't know what I was doing the first 2 years in. I don't know how to plug shit in. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. But I did good enough for more folks to hire me in time. Right. So I say all to say, anybody out there with an idea or dream, just get started.
Yeah.
Get started. You know what I mean? Because the bumps and the bruises come with any concept.
And the lessons come.
And the lessons
once
come.
you get started.
Just get started.
See, that's the thing, man. Everybody wants the shit to succeed in theory.
Yeah.
And then their first taste of defeat, they're out.
Yeah.
Because they have this misconception. But the reason I go back, and I mean, you just rifled off 5 or 6 whatever jobs to get to the point where you went to college and then you were just doing some shit you like, and the DJ became you the party guy, and then you started booking gigs and you sucked, but you kept doing it because you loved it and it paid you. And that's the story that people don't get, especially with the young culture of instant gratification.
Yeah.
But again, put one foot in front of the other, just show up, keep doing the work. Same thing with the podcast. You see the first one to now, there's obvious improvement. Obvious, the set, the lighting, the conversation, the delivery.
The venue.
Shameless plug. Sankofa Haus. There we go.
But yeah, those jobs kind of started the foundation for what was to come.
Right.
The hard work, the dedication.
And you were seeing people, you were seeing what responsibility looked like, all that shit. So I always tell people, the sooner you can get a job, the better off you'll be. So parents, if you're listening, your kid is 12, 13, your ass was working at 12, 13, so why? Because you're a little more comfortable, you don't give them the same benefit to go start earning their own money. And it's dog shit money, but it's $15 an hour
and it's experience.
In New York, and it's experience. And they get to learn that I gotta earn by trading either value, time, something to get a reward for it. But you said something great, which is Amadeus, and it's amazing that the two of you came out of the same circle, because you have a very similar happy-go-lucky, just loving, just warm energy about you. And him and I got into it on the show when you said, I was a good kid, I didn't fight, I didn't do this, I never got jumped, I never jumped nobody. And people don't understand that from the outside looking in, that like growing up in the hood, there's regular kids too. Like not everything is violence and drugs and misogynist and rap, and like there's kids with good families and just trying to get by. And obviously we just not making enough money to escape the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
So we, but y'all motherfuckers had like 9 kids. So you did it to yourself.
Whole tribe.
Pops was very fertile, apparently, huh?
Right.
It's that island mentality, baby. I mean, my grandparents had 13 kids.
That's how it was.
It's just
extra fertile.
Yeah, exactly. And it was part of life. Like you just built a big family. So back to Amadeus. Amazing story. So what if I told you music saved my life too? And it came in the form of a saxophone.
Okay.
So I was fortunate enough to go to PS 96 in the Bronx, and I remember my first music teacher, Miss Horn, not the warmest person, but a very good music instructor. And I just took to the tenor saxophone. And then junior high school, I fell in love with it. We had Mr. Rubinsky, who was a great band, teacher, renowned in the Bronx at the time. And there's very few music programs. I would imagine where you grew up in the South Bronx, there's even fewer music programs. So you and Amadeus got very fortunate to be in that neighborhood. And I was very fortunate to go to PS 96 and 135, both of which had music programs.
During that time too, yeah.
And because I showed a propensity for practicing, which led me to be talented, right? Because the shit don't just come naturally to me like it did to you. And not naturally, but you had the influence around you. So I learned and I got pretty good, and having to go every weekend to practice with my big ass saxophone, it took me out of the streets. So inadvertently, music saved my life. I would go on to go to LaGuardia High School, Music and Art. So I think you asked me if I played ball earlier, and I joked I played the saxophone. So here's the story.
Got you.
Full circle.
Back end.
I didn't get into this shape till recently, but the point is, if you go in the route of everybody else, you're gonna end up like everybody else. You were fortunate enough to get an audible call in your life, in terms of music and having good parents, probably not without its issues, but just having that foundation and that love and the brothers and sisters. You have a son that I'm aware of. You have other children as well?
No, just one.
How do you pour into him? What are the lessons that you're carrying from your old man and the things you learned into the next generation of your lineage?
It's a combination of things, man, but just more so patience and just really constructive conversations and dialogue, so he can kind of understand how fortunate he is to be living during the time he's living and having the parents that he has. I may not be the best father in the world. She may not be the best mother in the whole entire world, but I think we're doing a pretty good job. And I just remind him of that. Sometimes he gets into his little fits. He wants certain things. He doesn't want to go to bed, this, that, and the third. So I just, I tell him I love him often, every night, twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. And we look each other in the eye. I didn't really get that much of that growing up, to be honest with you. Like, it was screaming from the bedroom, I love you. And then my mom, I love you too. It wasn't really like
warm, right?
Yeah,
nine kids,
so, and those things are important. Those things are important. So he's very observant. He compares himself in a beautiful way, but not like not necessarily comparing, but just more so understanding the circumstances that he's fortunate to be living in, and the house that he's living in, the way he gets to travel. So, sports all the time. We read with him all the time. We're outside just doing fun kid things with him.
I see you, man. You're out there. You brought him to Fela Kuti's son?
Yeah. Femi Kuti. Yeah.
Like, he's getting culture.
Real experience.
He's getting culture. And how old is he?
He's 8 years old.
God bless you.
Just came back from China. Just came back from China on 300-mile-an-hour trains in Shenzhen. We just did that in late April, early May. So
that's what's
he's
up.
getting a phenomenal ride, man. Everything that my parents poured into me, I'm trying to give him twice as much, but making sure that he also identifies the fact that we ain't gonna spoil you. You're gonna earn it. You're gonna have to, abide by certain rules. You gotta get good grades, stay focused, treat people with respect. He's definitely, I'm so blessed, man. Even all my friends that come around, Aaron, they're like, yo, he's so good. He's so well-behaved, so well-mannered. He has his moments. Like we all
He's an 8-year-old.
He's 8. That's what they're supposed to do. Been on this earth for 8 years. Right. But I think, we're on a good ride.
And in you and your lady's defense, you are absolutely the best parents he has in the world.
I appreciate that.
You are his world.
Absolutely.
So change the language around that, because we are always doing the best we can, just like our parents did. Which brings me to this. There's a lot of dysfunction, family, no family, coming from anywhere. But I would imagine, immigrant parents, I believe.
Yes.
South Bronx, poverty's 9 kids. There had to be some things, and you just alluded to it. We didn't get that. We got love, but we didn't get that. And you're enhancing. It's called generational progress. That's what I like to identify.
I like that term.
What are some of the things that you've had to let go of
some of the
to become the man that you are and the father that you aim to be with your son?
That's a tough question, but I would say there was some quote unquote friendships that I had to let dissolve. Ultimately, when you're trying to carve a new path for yourself and your family, there's certain conversations you just don't want to have no more. There's certain places you just don't want to go anymore. So that has become a little difficult, but I'm all right. I'm built for this. It's not like anything that's kind of throwing me off balance ultimately, but I would say that when you have folks in your circle that you come up with and you remember exactly how things played out and the exchange that you guys had, and you grinding from start from the bottom kind of vibes, and things just start to shift. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's the levels of success that folks have taken on or responsibilities. I'm not sure, but I would say that kind of letting certain relationships dissolve has been a little difficult at times.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest thing I had to let go of, the idea that everybody that I was around was going to come along with me as I grew. Because the truth of it is, and I think you hit it, but maybe you didn't understand it, is you're a constant reminder that they've made no progress. They don't know that. Subconsciously, you don't, or maybe now you're aware, but that's what's going on. You being in their face is a constant reminder that you both started here.
Yeah.
And then you just kept growing and growing. And the first thing in the higher is, oh, you think you're better than us?
Yeah.
It's like, nah,
it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be that way. But that is a universal truth amongst most human beings.
Yeah.
We try to break down what we don't understand.
Yeah.
And I understand and know you as this individual. And then you had the nerve to go out and
try something new?
Become better?
Yeah. How dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah.
And the most painful part is when it happens in your family.
Yeah.
So I've had to do the same, bro. And I commend you for it, because it's an ultimate realization that unfortunately most people don't get to, because they want to be comfortable. They want to be around familiarity. And the secret to growth is being uncomfortable and unfamiliar. And most people are not willing to take that ride. So you've created this amazing space, which we now call home. You're an entrepreneur, you're a hustler, but I gotta touch on your Airbnb. Is it one unit? Do you have multiple units?
As of right now, I have one unit. It's a 3-bedroom. It sleeps 8. out in the South Bronx. You can follow BX Residences, a small little mini page. Got a shameless plug. Why not? You brought it up.
That's what we here for.
You brought it up.
That's what we here for. I wanted to touch on that for a couple of reasons. And the first is, the only reason I know about your Airbnb is because you have these cool reels where it's usually a white family from out of town or even out of the country talking about, we're in the South Bronx on your stoop. And then they give the walkthrough in the apartment. I mean, the house is beautiful.
Yeah.
And they get an experience that they would be accustomed to getting. And then they can say, I stood in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be like, stood in the fucking Bronx. What were you thinking? And then I saw that video. Again, how'd you get into the Airbnb opportunity? And how can someone looking to get into that space? Because I think that's a realistic space for someone who even has a job. Yeah. There's tax benefits to it. There's accessibility to the idea. It's not unrealistic. And it goes right in line with who you are as the hostess with the mostest. Yeah. So you get to show people a good time. Yeah. But how can somebody who has an interest in doing Airbnb start out and then market that?
I would say, man, you got to be super customer friendly. All about customer service. Make sure you go above and beyond. Go above and beyond at every opportunity, man. Sometimes people like to hold back with that and they focus on the money. One thing about me, and I think a big part of my growth is the fact that I don't give a fuck about money like that. I love, we get it, focus on it, want to put some more in the bank account, but ultimately that's not like the goal. It's really about creating and curating experiences for people. So my whole description on Airbnb is, 10 minutes from Yankee Stadium, 25 minutes from downtown, Bronx Zoos, up the block, Little Italy, this and the third. And like you mentioned, white people be pulling up. Unfortunately, black and brown folk don't like to plan ahead. So these people be booking my shit like months in advance, way in advance. Should be getting booked. Coming in from Indianapolis, Switzerland, France, Canada, whatever the case. But I would say try to give them more than the value of the space if you're gonna get into that space. There's a ping pong table in my spot, pool table. There's an emulator. I got about 200 or 2,000 actually video games from Super Mario Kart to F1, Street Fighter, all that good stuff. So they actually having like cool experiences. And on top of that, I'm a New Yorker. I've been here 42 years. I know every crack and corner. I've been DJing all the dope spots. I've seen the city from 80s to now. I know where the spots are.
And the different corners of the city.
Different corners of the city. This is a new corner that a lot of people have not seen yet. This is like what Dumbo was after Obama. This is what Long Island City was like after 9/11. It's like kind of developing. So I have all that in links where people write about that. And one of the biggest things that takes place is people really write long paragraphs about their experiences in the South Bronx. So one of the things you want to do is make sure you gather those reviews, give people more than they came to see. And they're gonna show you some love and be transparent. Let people check in earlier.
I always found that bugged out. Like people wouldn't bend on certain rules and shit. It's just like, what difference does it make?
It'd be so stringent with some of these rules. You gotta, be a little bit more fluid with that, and you'll be surprised because those reviews, once they stack up, other folks read them and they're willing to pay.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, and it's value. Right? You offer value. You offer a valuable service that many people offer, but you offer more value that's available in this space than going to the competition space. Same thing with your Airbnb model. So let that be the lesson is if you're trying to break out, there's no quick fix. There's no quick bag. It is customer service. It is adding value. It is consistency. It is showing up, taking action, making mistakes. All the shit we keep hearing, right? And what's dope as hosting a podcast, speaking to successful people at all levels, you start to just hear the same thing over and over and over.
That must be the formula.
Vocalized in different ways. Success has a fucking blueprint. Success leaves clues. Look at the people who are successful at what you want to be doing and emulate that. Before we wrap up, who are some of the people that have inspired you, mentored you along the way? Give them their flowers, and also let the audience know where they can find out more about you, Sankofa Haus, your Airbnb spot, and let the hood know what you got going on next.
Oh man, I would say I have a great collection of friends. Big shout out to my boys, Harvey, Vance, Gerard George, my man Jamil, Jason Casanova. I have a great collection of brothers that are about like living life, about sharing information, about treating each other fairly and showing respect. So I gotta start off with that, my friends. I gotta show love to my lady, Beverly. My son, if I didn't come home to that, I don't know who I would be. They're just a beautiful combination of human beings that continue to inspire me, continue to support me. I've been with my lady since, I've known her since college, but we've been together for a little over 10 years now. Okay. And been rocking out. So a great support system, and we exchange ideas, and, we're glowing up together. Another person that I would say is a big mentor of mine is my man Jude Bernard, multimillionaire, Brooklyn. I mean, I ain't telling his business like that because he puts it on the internet anyway, but he's doing his thing, owns the Brooklyn Bank, he's a real estate developer. Every now and then I pop up with him, go to court meetings, just see what he's dealing with, what he's juggling. And we have nice exchanges, good therapeutic sessions, and it's great. He's my big bro. He went to St. John's as well prior to me. But, we got that alumni DNA in us, so we got to keep on rocking out and just show each other love and respect. Anytime he needs something, he got me. Anytime I need something to spend, here, boom, here's the number, blah, blah, blah. And we just move like that. And there's multiple other folks that, you'll probably see in my stories, see on my Instagram at DJ SPYNFO, DJ SPYNFO, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But, and then, I got to throw it back to my parents, my mom and my dad. My mom is resilient. She's a hard-working lady. She was a little tough, had a lot of energy in her, but a good woman. And my father the same, man. And when I listen to his stories, my father was an OG, like legit OG, born in 26, 27, something like that. Passed away in 2015. But when you hear his stories coming from Honduras, no electricity, no running water in certain areas, joining the Merchant Marines. The Merchant Marines, for those who don't know, the Merchant Marines were getting blown up more than the actual Marines because they were the one bringing the rice and the cattle. Yeah. What I mean? To Germany, to London during the wars.
For the DR, same thing, yeah.
Absolutely. So when you hear
in the
stories,
Caribbean, yeah.
Mm-hmm, when you hear those stories, you realize anything's possible. And I believe, we all here for a reason. And we just got to keep on going, keep on inspiring until we expire. We don't know when the time is up. Just keep going and enjoy the ride.
There you go, baby. Let the audience know about your social, how they can find out more about Sankofa Haus.
Absolutely. You can find me, DJ SPYNFO, at DJ SPYNFO on Instagram, TikTok. Mr. Matrimony, I have the whole wedding division. I do a lot of weddings up and down the East Coast, destination weddings abroad. That is Mr. Matrimony, MATRORIOE, MATRIMONY, Mr. Matrimony. And then, of course, the most important space is where we at right now, Sankofa Haus, SANKOFA House, HAUS. We are the catalyst that nurtures the innate connection between the community and its residents. For those who don't understand what that means, we all live in a community, and sometimes we don't know who's in our community. So this place is here to foster stronger bonds, stronger relationships between those who live amongst each other. So hope to see you guys in the near future at Sankofa Haus. DJ SPYNFO, we are here.
I just want to say thank you for coming out today. Even though I get to see you very often now, we've decided to make this home because it's such a beautiful venue. Anybody looking to host an event, don't even consider the fact that it's in the South Bronx. It's easily accessible from Jersey, any part of the Bronx, Manhattan, you name it. So if you have an event, baby shower, corporate function, birthday party, you don't have to be relegated to the little spots that you're used to. This is a premier spot in New York City and definitely the premier spot in the Bronx. So make sure you check it out. We're gonna have all that information in the bio. Thank you as always for tuning in to the Real Mentors podcast. And thank you again to our hosts with the most, DJ SPYNFO, baby.
More
Let's
blessings.
get it.